Hello, everybody. Welcome to On the Patio with Crystal and Jevon. We have a special guest for us today, with us today, Jerry Citarella. Jerry is a financial advisor, and let's just read his bio just so you know who it is that we're talking about. Jerry has over 35 years of experience in financial services. He's served as a manager for estates and investment specialist. He's a trainer, both locally and nationally, a business owner, and a mentor to many. He is currently a partner at Prosperitas Financial, where he oversees the Irvine office while remaining fully active as an independent, full service financial advisor. Jerry works closely with clients to identify their goals and needs and helps them develop strategies to achieve them. He also hosts an ongoing educational video series that I was actually a part of. Hi, Jerry. How are you?
I'm well, and you were a great guest, and I appreciate your time. I think you still have one of the highest viewed videos that we've done on my show so far, so I appreciate that. And I'm doing well, thank you. Just had a nice weekend and went out to the Newport Beach Christmas boat parade.
Oh, how
Had a
nice.
Yeah, we got a Duffy and decorated it, and went out
Oh,
there and 3 hours in the dark with far too many boats and far too many people probably drinking out of their red cups, and it was exciting. I think I was driving. I think it took 2 years off my life, but everybody else had a good time.
so it wasn't a light, exciting time. It was like, oh, am I gonna get out of this alive? Kind of
Yeah,
exciting
but it was
time.
amazing. I think it was 220 boats. It's sponsored by the
Wow.
Newport Chamber of Commerce, and 117th annual. So to watch these 150-foot yachts driving around, decorated like some of these houses you see that are amazing. I heard one of them spent over $100,000 to decorate their boat for the parade, and it was themed like the show Wicked. And they actually
Oh,
had this big
wow.
glass bubble on the front with somebody inside of it performing as it went around. It was pretty amazing. So
Oh,
my first time
yeah.
there, being kind of a new resident to this area, but we'll be back next year.
So do
Sounds
they
great.
do a like they do in the neighborhood? Because I was in Redondo Beach last night. We took a party bus and went through that. Tons of people. It's beautiful. But do they do an award for the best
They do they
presentation?
do best boat overall, best boat under 30 feet, most decorated, most lights, all this stuff. And then they have a lead boat that goes, and they go around the entire Newport Harbor in a pattern, and they give you a map. So we saw them, then we got ahead of them, and then out by the channel leading out to the ocean, they do a big turn, and that was a great place. We parked in the middle when all of them came around us and stuff. And yeah, it was kind of neat. Definitely a good time.
Oh,
Put your
yeah,
friends
I've
on
been
board.
on a
Yeah.
not a dinner cruise, but I think my one of my friends celebrated her 65th birthday, and that's what we did. We went down to Newport Beach we went out around the channel and came back, and it was really a wonderful time.
Yeah.
So I can
Well,
imagine with all the lights.
well, picture it with far too many boats at night.
Yeah, yeah, we were the only boat out there, so it
Yeah,
felt fine. But with 250, but Christmas is such a wonderful,
yeah,
merry time,
it
and the
is.
lights, I think, and the decoration really says a lot
Yeah.
for
Well,
everybody's commitment.
so I had a wonderful weekend, and I hope yours was good as well.
Yeah, mine.
Oh, I'm so glad you folks are catching up. This is great. I'll just leave, maybe get some punch, chat a little bit.
I think there's probably something important we want to talk about, not just my activities, right? But you know what? It's all about balance in life, and
It is.
we work hard so we can enjoy even harder, and be with the people we love and care for and enjoy spending time with, and you have to have balance. So I love working, but I really really love the time that I get to enjoy because of the work that we all do.
Well, I think it's
That's it.
important, especially in our all of our lines of work, because we're interacting with people and their money, and they put a lot of trust into us. So that's a big responsibility
Yeah,
for all of us. So you have to have some downtime just so that you can internalize, what is it, retreat into you, and then so you can come out a better person. So that's what I use holidays do. I always say, somebody said, how was your holiday? It was fantastic. I didn't talk to not one client. Not that I don't love them, but it was fantastic because I need at that point I needed me. So
right.
I think it's important.
I get it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Crystal, let me read your bio so we know who you are, as if
Okay.
we didn't. But Ladies and gentlemen, Crystal is a business coach and consultant. She's the CEO of Mitchell Business Solutions, co-director of Recycling Black Dollars. She's the co-host of The Business Zone, that other weekly radio show with Crystal and Gilbert, and an instructor at Mount San Antonio Community College. She's also a certified network for teaching entrepreneurship instructor and a QuickBooks Pro Advisor financial strategist. Hey, Crystal, good to have you
Hello,
with us.
everyone. Good to be here.
Okay, well, Jerry, we're going to put you on the hot seat there and talk about you, if that's okay.
I got a cup of cold water to cool me off if I need to. So let's get it as warm as we can.
Okay. Well, just want to find out a little bit more about you and your practice. I took a couple of glances at the book you gave me here. I don't know if everybody can see it, but it's called Financial Planning, The Truth. And I love the way you did this, hurts/helps, because there's a lot of people out there. I don't know if you can see the book now. There we go.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that are looking for financial advisors to be miracle workers, because we hear about people getting super amounts of money in the market. We hear about all kinds of things that are going on out there, and some of us are saying, "How come that can't be me?" So, can you give us a little bit of your philosophy with regard to investing? How do you look at the market?
Yeah, and I'll as you're saying that, I just had that exact scenario happen last week, and I'll start with this. A young person came to me, wonderful story. 19 years old, just became a partner in a business, and he's doing well and wanted to get some money invested. So I know his dad referred him to me, and he's a perfect example of what you just said. He has some buddies that have made some good investments, and they were telling him what to do,
Mm-hmm.
and it ends up one of them bought into a stock, which I won't mention here, but it's done extremely well. He says, "Oh, he just says, do this. I did this and I made a bunch of money." I said, "Okay, so how long ago did he do that?" He said, about 3 or 4 years ago, and it's been great for him. I said, "How long have you known him?" He said, "Oh, about 2 years." I said, "Has he ever mentioned another stock that he bought that's been successful?" He said, "No." I said, "Getting advice from your friends is like hearing their stories after they go to Vegas. They tell you that one run they made at the blackjack table and made whatever number. They don't tell you the other 6 sessions when they lost everything and had to go back to the ATM 4 times. So
Right.
I get that a lot, where, like you said, Jevon, you hear people about these great stories, but the reality is most people don't have those great stories when they do it on their own. And it's wonderful if you do. And I'm never going to say that anybody shouldn't do it on their own, but I believe people are good at certain things, and that's why you hire people to do things. I'm pretty handy, but I am not going to do a bunch of electrical work in my house. I don't want to burn the house down. And a lot of people think they can do their financial planning, but they end up burning the house down. So I think, and we talked about it, Jevon, when you were on, not so much going after wealth, because that's a goal that unfortunately is unattainable for many people, but striving for stability and then going from there. So my philosophy is pretty simple. There's some things that you can do that are boring, but reliable, consistent, and predictable. Then you can always take a chance. But again, going back to the Vegas money. And I think, unfortunately, in investing, too many people view it all as that Vegas money, where they don't even understand the risk they're taking in reality. It's like somebody going to Vegas and not realizing those buildings are really, really big and beautiful, because most people don't win. And if you walk in thinking you're going to take down Vegas, just like the markets, you're going in without the necessary knowledge and wisdom that you need to be successful at it, because you go at it the wrong way. So I would say, get a decent understanding of how it all works realistically. Again, the truth about it, and like my book says, the truth hurts crossed out. A lot of people don't like to hear the truth because it hurts. But if you can just accept it and use it, then it will definitely help you. So understanding enough to know, what you don't know, what your capabilities are. And then I always say, use an advisor that knows what they're doing, because statistically, probably in about 90% of the cases, the advisor will do better than the individual investor. Some people are great at it. Some people get lucky. But you have to have knowledge. You have to have a good team. You have to understand where you belong and where you don't belong. And then find a good person that you can work with that you can trust. That's the most important piece. And I know sometimes that's hard.
I think you're absolutely right. I'm sorry, Crystal. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that you're absolutely right, especially with young people, because I mentioned something to my nephew who's 30, and I was telling him about investing in real estate and so forth and so on. And he's young. He's thinking, oh, this is not even for me at all. I said, no, there are some investors out there that have been around a long time that have a system that works, and you can see it. It wasn't fast. It was slow and steady and consistent. And so my mentor, I love Warren Buffett. I think the way he invests, to me, that's my opinion, but I think the man makes all kinds of sense in the world.
Oh yeah, he's a solid. If you want a foundation for investing, follow him, and then once you know a little bit more, some tweaks on what he does, but it's a good basis.
Yep. It's a good basis because it's based upon some reality, not the sky in the pot, the sky in the pie in the sky mentality. Yeah. And so he says, but he's old. I like that. Don't mean darn thing when it works.
He's old
is not bad.
He's old and he's rich, and he's been rich for a long time, and he still lives in the same little house he lived in. He drives a car that's 5 or 6 years old. He drives his car until one of his daughters, who he trusts, says, "Dad, that's embarrassing at this point. You need a new one." Goes to the same coffee shop. It's not exciting.
No, but it's consistent and it works, right? So,
and you mentioned real estate, and sorry to interrupt, but it's another example. I can go on the internet right now while we're on here. If you let me be the presenter, I'll go on any social media and I'll find 10 or 12 people within 30 seconds that are going to teach me how to get rich flipping real estate. If it was that easy, everybody be doing it. So there's so much out there, and so many people in my world that just get on there and say the 7 tricks, the 12 tips, the how, and it's all clickbait stuff. And I think people get distracted by that and they think it's real, and then they try it and it doesn't work. And then they go, "Oh, I can't do that. That's that investing stuff." I've had people over the years, "I tried buying stocks once and I lost my butt. I'm never going to do that again." Well, tell me how you did it. And then I hear the details and I go, "Well, you had no chance. You listened to," I don't want to say the word I'm thinking, but you listen to someone that doesn't know what they're doing.
Right, exactly.
Or they had an agenda.
They had an agenda, right?
I actually did a video the other day about a scam. There's these people doing AI version of Warren Buffett, recommending they get out of 5 specific stocks. One of my clients called me and said, "I want to get out of this stock because Warren Buffett said so." And I looked at it. Within 30 seconds, I realized it wasn't him. And then you go on Berkshire Hathaway's site and they're giving a warning about it. And then I clicked down a little further and realized this is a company that's trying to sell subscriptions to their newsletter. And they were just trying to get you in with this headline, "Buffett says sell these 5 stocks." And they created some stuff that was close to the truth and gave a reason to sell them that sounded reasonable, and then tried to get them to pay money to continue with this great information that they have access to Warren Buffett. All BS.
Right, exactly.
You're making a really interesting point there. We as advisors have to be careful because we know that there are people out there that are actually trying to take advantage of our clients, and they're trying to take advantage of them, and they're trying to make it so that it's bad for the rest of us. Right? If you're an honest advisor out there trying to do your job, trying to aid your clients, I like the example you gave in your book, sort of like a Sherpa. I'm going to guide you through this process. I'm going to get you to the top of the mountain. And yes, you're going to pay me to do that. That's the way this thing works. I provide a service, you pay me. There's a lot of folks out that are taking advantage of that, the whole DIY thing, and making it so that, you don't have to pay these folks. And it's really a travesty when regular people get caught up in between that. And then all of a sudden they have huge losses. They don't know what to do, and they miss out on opportunities. And then that makes everybody's life even worse. So I really appreciate what you said about, in your book, by finding a guide to, I think you put, get you to the top of the mountain. And by the way, I've been to the top of the mountain several times. That's in the...
Yeah. And I like to say that I've never been retired, but I've retired probably 120 to 150 people, all with different levels of struggles to get there. Some that thought they could never get there and had to start over. So yeah, I mean, who do you want packing your chute if you're jumping out of a plane?
The man that
You
knows what he's doing.
You don't want to do it yourself, even though you're the one who's most emotionally attached to your successful landing.
Right. Yeah.
You want somebody who's done it 1,000 times and has pretty good numbers.
Yeah. That's a very good point. So,
Yeah.
most of our listeners are business owners and people that are not too savvy with the market. What advice would you give? Let's say a person that's starting their business. What kind of financial advice would you give someone like that?
Well, and Crystal, I have a hunch you're gonna. I mean, Jevon, you probably know this, but Crystal, you're a business coach. I'm. Please tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
I would say the best financial advice I would give them is understand first their unique abilities and understand the things that they truly can't and shouldn't be doing, what their limitations are, and just accept them and actually create a good plan. My statement I always make is just because you could swing a hammer doesn't mean you should own a construction company. There's bidding, there's bookkeeping, there's collections, there's sales, there's a lot of stuff in there. And then first understand what piece of that business you should do. And a lot of people get into business on their own and they just start going. And before you know it, it's this mess. And a lot of it works out. But I think if you take some time up front and not only plan the business and where you're good and what I'm creating a new business here, as you know, Jevon. It's a long time business. I started a new office. I get to start over knowing what I've known for 35 years, but starting fresh. And it's wonderful. I have a need right now and I'm not going to try to do it. I'm bringing someone in to do it. So I think the first thing is just really identify the tasks, the roles, the things, and what you can do and make sure that you're doing the stuff that you're good at and try to position yourself so people that do other things better are in that position. The second thing is understand the numbers, understand the finances, and realize there's a lot of things you can do in my world, and Jevon, obviously your world, to benefit yourself financially once you own a business. It's great to make money, but it's really important to also keep as much of it as you can. And I think a lot of people get into business and go on and on. I was at lunch yesterday with a gentleman that's been in his business for 32 years. Okay. They're successful. They're making lots of money. They're getting ready to maybe sell the business for a substantial sum in 2 to 3 years. They don't have a retirement plan set up. So he's never put a dime away for his own benefit, nor has he ever deferred income until so I would say, don't wait to do some things that you should do early on. And if you don't know what you should do, consult with somebody like Crystal or myself or you, Jevon, that knows these things and get yourself set up and start saving what you can early and just really have a plan. Too many people just get a business card and just go. and it requires more
planning. And I'm in business.
Yeah. And then, the last two things are get yourself an accountability coach or a business coach, to keep you online because it's easy to get distracted. And then also whatever business you're in, reach to the highest level you can and find someone that's already in that business and ask them, how can I help? How can you help? I was at a workshop the other day with a guy in my business that is bigger than I am. And he works with ultra high net worth clients. And I do a lot of that stuff and I've done a lot, but I reached out to him and he was kind of amazed. I said, listen, I'm not trying to recruit you to my company. I just think you have some knowledge I'd like to have both in terms of access and ability. Is it okay if I take you to lunch? And he said, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I'd like to go to lunch with one of my competitors and we can talk shop a little bit. So I'm going to pick his brain. He'll pick mine. And he was wide open to it, as am I. So I think you can find people who will help you. And then you never know what that turns into. They may drag you along and they may refer you to the smaller jobs they don't want. I mean, it's just great to have someone who's been there. Again, the Sherpa idea. Find someone who's been to the top of the mountain and just hang on and see what they'll give you. And people love to share success stories and guide younger entrepreneurs. So I think that's a few things there, but just have a plan.
I would completely agree with all of that. My business partner and I have we're both coaches, and we both have this saying that you can come to the tried and true business coaches that have actually probably experienced a lot of the things that they're teaching you in their own journey. Or you can go to the street counter street corner coach and let them coach you. And then when you come back to us, then you got to pay the stupid tax for listening to them in the first place.
It's like the electrician loves when you try to do it yourself, because then they get to charge you. So this is a real story. I mean, again, my book's The Truth Helps. Everything I say, I actually heard these words come out of somebody's mouth, and I've heard it more than once. These exact words. I've had a bunch of businesses. It hasn't really worked out. I've been okay, struggling. I found this real business opportunity, though. I think I'm going to become a success coach.
Yeah, there you go. Right there.
In my head, I went like this. What?
And what
exactly? How'd you go again?
Out of my mouth, I said, "Good for you. I hope that works out."
And Jerry, which successes are you going to put on the website?
Yeah, and you see that a lot, with AI, with social media. Everybody's an AI coach. Everybody's a social media expert, and I'm the last person in the world to tell somebody to stop trying to make it. But I also would appreciate it if people would have a little bit more knowledge and ability before they went out and told people that they have a lot of knowledge and ability. Let's be real with who you are, and let's make sure that the service you're offering is valuable to the people you're offering it to. So it's always hard for me. It's like, I don't want to tell anybody not to go, but at the same time, you're not helping the people that are paying you and think they're getting helped. And it's just not fair.
Yeah.
Go to work for a big company that does it well.
Right.
Learn it, be a consultant, and then at that point, maybe branch off on your own, but don't just dive in and be a social media advisor, which is, hey, I got 650 followers on Instagram. I think I'm going to tell other people how to get famous on Instagram.
Yeah, right. Exactly. When it was funny when I was out, when I was doing, my core is accounting and business structure, infrastructure. And so I was just doing what I do, right? Bookkeeping, accounting, strategic planning for their businesses and helping them come up with great business models that generated revenue. And so one of my colleagues says, Chris, and they were a business coach. She goes, "Oh, you're a really great business coach." I said, "I'm not a business coach." And then I said, "I'm just consulting." She goes, "No, you've been doing this for almost 10 years now. I think you can call yours, and you've gone to school, you got certificates. I think you can call yourself a business coach now." I was like, "I don't know." Right?
Just own it.
It took me a minute to own the title.
And there's value in what you do. I mean, here's right on my desktop. This is the guy that I'm working with. I have a business coach.
And you have to.
I've been doing this 35 years. I've coached people. I've opened business. I help people with business, but I'm smart enough to know that there's some things I'm going to miss. And if nothing else, it's just the accountability. I had a guy many, many years ago. He was my coach, and he walked out on me because I didn't have the things prepared that I was supposed to have prepared. And he walked in, and I'm paying him. And he said, "Show me your stuff." And I came up with all kinds of good excuses on why I didn't get it done. And he starts walking out of the office. I said, "Where are you going? I'm paying you." And he said, "Don't waste my time,
right,
or yours.
Yeah,
I'm out of here. And don't ever have me back in your office if you're not ready to do the things that we're supposed to be doing. If you're not serious about accountability, I'm not going to let you pay me to about whatever." And holy crap. I was like, and ever since then, I've always loved that idea of accountability and having a true accountability partner, not a yes person that says, "Oh, you're wonderful and everything you say is great." I want someone who's going to hold me accountable. And I found this guy that I'm starting to work with on some projects. And so even after 35 years of doing this, I think it's still valuable to have someone. And, Jevon, like you and I mean, we're both in a similar related business, whatever. I mean, you and I could be accountability partners and just say, these are the things we're doing. Just find someone that is good at what they do and accountable, and it's just holding each other responsible. So I think it's valuable to have people on your team that just really, really hold your feet to the fire.
I think you're mentioning a couple of really good things, even for folks who aren't in business, but just folks who are trying to decide how they're going to tackle this wealth thing. Maybe they get themselves an advisor. That's the first thing, right? Let's be accountable to someone for getting an advisor. And then let's be accountable to someone, maybe it's our family, about what that plan looks like and operate and executing that plan. Start simple, small like that. I mean, you don't have to be Warren Buffett to have an accountability partner. You could be Jerry, you could be Crystal.
Yeah, and that's how we work. We as advisors, we don't like to just invest money. We will, but we really like to have a plan wrapped around everything, and we do really in-depth planning, even for younger people, business owners, even some people that say, I have all the money in the world, I don't need anymore, I just want you to invest it. Well, I still want a plan around it. Without that map, you don't know how to get to the end, and you don't know the benchmarks and everything. So it is really important. And I find I have people that have been invested with multiple advisors over the years, and they're happy, and then we get them as a client. We put that plan together, and for the first time ever, they actually understand the why behind the what. I'm investing money, I'm doing well. Why? What's this dollar for? What's that dollar for? What's this dollar for? What are the things we have to look out for? What if this happens? And so when we have that plan in place, whether it be a business or your investments, because the investments are a business, it's the business of getting you to a goal, whatever that goal is. And it could be multiple goals. So you need that people on your team, you need the proper plan set up. And it really just takes out all the question marks. I mean, anytime in life that we can erase some of those question marks, the variables, the unknowns, the intangibles, it really helps out. And then when you look at the question marks that you can't erase, you put in contingency plans and, a properly built plan, whether it be business or financial plan, or Jevon, in your world, more of a corporate plan. I think it just makes everybody at peace. And then when things go a little wrong, nobody freaks out, and nobody backs out of the plan, because the best plan is horrible if it doesn't complete. You need to make sure we get to the end of it. Even a bad plan is better than a plan that doesn't complete.
Exactly.
You do a good plan that completes. You do a good plan that completes, and now we're all in business.
There you go. There you go. Well, Jerry, it has been great chatting with you. I think we've come to the end of our time there.
Man, I think we have 4 hours today. What are you doing?
Where can people find you? How do they get in touch with Jerry Citarella?
Yeah, so a couple ways. Phone number 949. Shoot, new office. Hang on. 949-6222. I always want to say the old one. Email my first initial last name, J Citarella at pfria.com. Or just go on the internet and look up Jerry Citarella or Jerry Citarella Presents. I have a YouTube channel. I have a bunch of other stuff out there. None of it is promoting me and my business at a high level. A lot of it is other stuff. Like, again, Jevon, you were a guest on it. Actually, cool story. I had a guy on Friday. He just got an NIL deal, if you know what that is, to go to Ohio State, meaning he's getting paid as a freshman quarterback to go play at Ohio State. And he has a really interesting story because he's only 6 feet tall. He's a good quarterback, but he made it to Ohio State as a quarterback and got paid because he had a 77% pass completion ratio and only about 3 or 4 interceptions per year. So it's a story of hard work, overcoming a size restriction, and just being consistent and reliable. And now he may be a professional football player in 3 or 4 years. So I had him on my show the other day, and he was able to deliver a message to kids that I can't deliver. So it was awesome. So there's a lot of that stuff on there.
What's your is a podcast?
I don't know. I call it a video series. It's on YouTube.
All right.
all the long stuff's on YouTube, and then the shorts are everywhere. And then I just got invited to be on a really big podcast next year, which is exciting. And then hopefully I can get that to. So there's a bunch of stuff going on there. So Jerry Citarella Presents is what it's under.
Oh, on YouTube.
On YouTube, and then all the other socials you can find me under my name. It's all small, but it's growing. We've doubled the size and the followers over the last 2 months. Jevon was helpful. You got one with, I think, 4,000 or 5,000 views, which was good. So we get good guests on like Jevon, and we're going to make things grow. So Crystal, if you want to be on the show, let me know.
I would love to. And I have, as Jevon says earlier, I have a show that has been on the air for like 10 years, called The Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. And so I would love to have you on that show as well. We're broadcasting, streaming live as well, but we do it on Fridays. And I have a whole clientele that definitely I'm gonna read your book. I just downloaded it. and because you're right, unfortunately, when people are in business for themselves, they figure their business is their retirement plan, and then they get in for a rude awakening at the tail end of it. And so I will definitely refer you over, and I do coaching, individual coaching as well, because this is, I think today, as we're closing out, Jevon, today people have heard so much stuff, and with AI, is even more it's going to be more tragic than it has been in the past, because anything that people see on the internet they believe is true, and I think we are in the position that we are in today in this country because so many people are followed people that are not authentic and don't have a clue, and they're just chasing the dollar. And
Yep.
so and as you said, your experience in Vegas certainly will not be my experience in Vegas, because you're not going to tell me the millions and thousands of dollars you lost before you got to that big win.
Yep. Yep.
And
That
so and so I can help you grow your channel, and then we'll have you on ours as
Yeah,
well.
love to talk to you. And if I have one more minute, I'd like to tell you something I'm creating right now. If I don't, and the show has to stop, let me know.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm creating an AI interface right now because I know everybody loves AI, everybody loves the internet, and there's a lot of junk out there. And I love when people come in my office because I can coach them and help them, but some people just won't come in. I don't want to do it. I don't trust you guys. So I'm creating an AI interface right now where it'll be a coaching, educational, and role-playing module where there's the questions that people have about financial planning that they can have a live interaction. And it'll be an AI version of me talking to them, but it'll take it one level past that and do some therapy sessions, if you will, and also coaching and role playing on some of the conversations that you need to have that are complex. One example: how do I get my kids to start investing when they have their first jobs? Because as parents, what do we tell our kids? You need to do this because when you're old like me, you'll appreciate it. And they don't hear that. But how do you have that conversation with an 18, 19, and 20-year-old? And the AI module is going to teach you in a role-playing session how to overcome when they tell you, well, I'm just going to invest in Bitcoin. So it's going to give you a little bit of knowledge. How do you have a conversation with your aging parents and tell them that you think it's time for them to start giving you control of their money because of their current situation? And AI obviously understands and knows these different demographics and how they think. So it's going to be set up to help you through those hard times, not only understanding what you're going through, but helping you help people around you. How do you talk to your boss, Jevon, and try to help him understand that a more complex and more robust retirement plan within the company actually could help him, and he should talk to Jevon? So we're going to create something that has like these major life events or things that go on and walk you through the process of getting through them and then helping you have those discussions, as well as being a live and interactive training coach for financial stuff. So that's in the process of being built right now, and I hope to have it launched by the end of January. So we're trying to do what we can. None of that will benefit me. I mean, ultimately they can call me if they want, but that's just, I'm going to put it out there. And as they say, you put some good stuff out and it comes back to you in multiples. So I'm going to put a bunch of good stuff out there and try to do, I'm in a good position after this long and just want to share what I can and help as many people as possible. So I'm here to spread the word. And if someone wants to come back and use my services, wonderful. But if not, at least if they get help, then we've all done our job.
There you go. Well, you know what? That sounds great. I would love to have you back. Maybe we can talk about that AI service and break that down just a little bit.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to do now. Let me read your bio, and I'll read the one from Crystal there. And Crystal, if you can give us the last word, that would be awesome.
Okay.
So, everybody, just want to say thank you again to Jerry Citarella for coming on our show. He's got 35 years of experience in financial services, serves as a manager and an investment specialist, a trainer locally and nationally. He's a business owner and a mentor to many. He's currently a partner at Prosperitas Financial. He oversees the Irvine, California office and is a fully licensed financial advisor to boot. Jerry works closely with clients to identify their goals and needs, helps them develop strategies to achieve them. Jerry, give us one last burst of where it is people can find you, just in case they missed it the last time.
I'll make it real simple. Just go into Google and type Jerry Citarella, Citarella. I can't hide anymore, and that works out okay. So just do that, and you're going to do it anyway. Once you still just go there, and you'll find me. And I'm in the Irvine office, and easy to find, and happy to help in any way.
That's great. Well, I love to talk, and I can do that a lot, but I'm going to let Crystal take the last word.
And I'll be quiet.
I love the fact that you're focusing. I love the fact that you're focusing on young people. That's always that's where my focus is on young people, making sure that they're prepared for the future. And so kudos for that. That's a great idea. The AI piece is something that they will resonate with. Um, and they hopefully they will embrace it, and I got a bunch of kids. I teach kids how to be entrepreneurs, so if you need an audience,
Yeah,
I can make sure they tuned in.
let's do it.
Oh, great.
All
That's
righty.
awesome. That's great. Well, I'm Jevon Thomas of Jevon Thomas Retirement Plan Consultants. We help business owners with their retirement plans, 401ks, 403bs. It has been great. We'll see you next time on the patio. And thank you all for joining us. Bye-bye.
Thank you for having me on the patio.